My mom drove my sisters, a couple of neighborhood kids, and myself to the theater for the afternoon. Scott Lansinger, one of the neighborhood kids, would come into the theater with a big brown paper bag full of candy for the afternoon.
On Saturdays, we'd get in there, they would show the cereal, and the guy was always falling off a cliff, or he was on fire or whatever, and the next week, it was all a sham. He didn't fall off, he didn't have a fire, he was doing something else, and that used to bother me. Do you remember that?
Theater was a babysitter for me, as my mom and dad read in the jewelry store, and Saturday afternoons with 25 cents and enough money to buy a big sugar daddy, I could spend the afternoon and stay out of their hair.
Sarah Reed, a local resident, as a child heard that there was going to be a new movie theater in Manasquan. The Coast-Star, our local paper, ran a contest to name the theater. The prize was $25. Sarah thought of the name Algonquin in honor of the Native Americans who lived at the shore. Skeets, Leo Myers, and a couple of other kids helped install the new theater seats, just in time for the first movie showing. In those days, there was nothing more popular than going to the movies. There were no air conditioners. There were two big fans that blew air over large blocks of ice under the stage toward the audience. Jane Newberry's brother, Bill Newberry, used to deliver the ice in his ice truck. Skeets also delivered weekly movie posters to all the Arcadia theaters. This chain of theaters was owned by Lee Newberry. Eden O'Hare, better known as Skeets, was just a kid in high school when he first started working at the Algonquin Theatre.
I used to put the kids out because they were bad or something. Then they'd go down the street and they'd come back and they'd say, "Mr. Skeets, I'm sorry. Could I go back in?" I'd say, "Okay, I'm back in." When I was the manager, I used to walk the aisles with a flashlight to make the kids quiet and make sure they were behaving.
But my sister and I came every single night it was here, for the week it was here, and every night we cried. The last night was the worst because we knew it was the last night. So we were crying really, really loud. And Skeets came down the aisle with his flashlight, shined it in our faces and said, "You have to be quiet or I'm gonna have to get you out of here." And then we were sobbing some more, and then it just got louder and louder and louder, and finally he came down the aisle and said, "Okay, you two out of here."
We stood, we pledged the flag. Following the flag was featured a couple of cartoons, and then the movie was shown.
In the 1950s, I was in high school. I worked at the Algonquin Theatre, and I did everything. I sold tickets, then I went back and sold candy, popcorn, went back and ripped the tickets, and then went down and opened the curtain. I was made the manager for the summer. If it was a hot day, everybody was on the beach, so I only had 2 or 3 people in the movies.
I started working for the movies when I was 14 years old. It was the best years of my life.
It wasn't just a movie theater, it was a center where the community would gather. In the early 1980s, the Algonquin was closed. For the next several years, the theater became dilapidated and littered with debris.
With every great idea, there comes a big responsibility and a lot of risks at the same time. There's a great Italian saying that says, "Senza soldi la messe non si canta." Without dollars, the mass is rarely sung or never sung. With every great idea, there comes a responsibility and a risk. It was the Marazidis and the Drews that in fact said, "All right, we'll assume that risk and get other people enthusiastic." That's really a key idea. When you wake up in the morning, The, the floor is loaded with great ideas, but you have to pick one up and then start working on it. And as you keep peeling back that onion, say, my God, what did I get myself into? The key is to get other people enthusiastic about your idea. And that's exactly what the Manasquans and the Drews did.
I have to say I was very excited about the plan, about how we might encourage their project, and they put it together, and they did a great job. I think probably the most important point that I'd like to stress is the fact that it really became the anchor of the town center, using the restoration of the Algonquin as an example of what the town could do. I also painted part of the building on several occasions, which I probably still, you see where I missed a couple spots.
A new proscenium was built, extending the stage from 19 feet deep to 35 feet deep. A sprung stage was installed to accommodate national dance companies. A fly tower went up to enable the changing of scenery and backdrops. Down below, an orchestra pit was built, along with dressing rooms for the performers. Theatrical lighting was added, along with modern theater sound and projection systems.
In order to get the seats ready, we had to take them all out. We had volunteers that came and recovered all the seats. We took all the blue paint off the backs of the seats and revarnished them. The PTA mothers came and refinished all the arms, the wooden arms that are still there. So today we have the historic seats, but they're restored and ready for the community. The whole project was a labor of love. Nevertheless, we were happy to do it because, well, we wanted to give something back to the community, and this is a great community, and we're glad we did it.
In 1994, the former movie house became a multi-purpose performing arts center for the entire central Jersey Shore region.
With the restoration of the Algonquin, it really started things happening, and I'm proud to say today, most of the town's businesses are occupied and are doing very well.
Myself and my friend Sal Jockey ran a children's theater at the Algonquin. ACT, it was called, Algonquin Children's Theater. We did 2 shows a year, one at holiday time, at Christmas, and every year we did the Little Christmas Pageant, and it was sold out every show.
The Algonquin, where there was so recently darkness and silence, suddenly came alive with many artistic, educational, and community enrichment programs. These great cultural events drew more than 350,000 people to the theater.
The Algonquin Theatre was probably of inestimable value to us because Jack and Fran, from the beginning, thought we were terrific, thought we made a great contribution. And when you have that sort of administration above you, knowing and appreciating what you do, that was of great value. That was of tremendous value to us.
And now with about 10 years experience in this theater and doing everything from operas to musicals to having the full orchestra on that stage every time is very, very exciting. Bernstein had said there's only 2 types of music, good music and there's bad music. And what we'd like to do is continue to bring good music, no matter whether it be written in 1750 or maybe 10 years from now.
The couple that stayed with us was Yuri and Olga. They spoke no English, so everything was hand signals and pantomime and trying to figure things out.
Isn't it me on the stage where you took the picture of all the dancers?
Yes, it is. I believe it was during the performance and maybe even during the practice that all of the children, the local children who performed with the Moscow Classical Ballet, were lined up along the edge of the stage, and they were watching so intently the dancers performing and practicing and working. It was just the perfect shot to see how excited they were to be involved with such a wonderful experience here.
I think this was such a unique experience because we got to know some other people from other
around the
countries.
world, right?
And
we don't usually get that.
No,
people
you don't
coming
get
in.
an opportunity, and then you really see how everyone really is the same. We're all in it together, and you really get to meet them, and the Algonquin allowed us to do that. Otherwise, how would we ever?
A unique experience, the unique experience of all my life.
Yeah.
They came to our home, and two of the male principal dancers stayed, and I think there were 3 other women that stayed at our home for the 5 or 6 days they were here.
This evening we are attempting to break the world record for the longest kick line. Algonquin Arts reopened as a performing arts center in 1994. What we do is provide live performances. We try and do a variety of type of performances, whether it's musicals, music concerts, drama, provide arts education programs for students in schools. So what we want to provide is truly a cultural center for Central Jersey. So we really want the area to know that the arts are alive and well and kicking right here in Manasquan.
Right here in Manasquan, Algonquin Arts is the cultural heart of our community. Thanks to everyone who contributed to our capital campaign, the Algonquin Arts Theatre is owned by the nonprofit. This means that the future of the theater and all it offers is in the hands of the community, of those who benefit most.
My name is Donna Crater, and I own Jessie. This is an American craft gallery located in the Algonquin Arts Complex. I love being in this end of town and in this building because of the culture that the theater brings to us. Not only does it bring us business, to us, the merchants, but to the restaurants in town.
It employs local actors, local designers, local painters, and musicians. It's really nice to see the incredible amount of talent that's in this area.
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, that's the town that knew me when. If you'd like to have a logical explanation, how I happened on the Italian Syncopation.
Arts education is important all the way up through, all the way through your whole life. I love what I do. I absolutely love the arts, and I want to share it with everyone. I want to let everyone know and tell everyone how important the arts are. I mean, without the arts, we have no humanity.
Well, here at the Algonquin Arts Theatre, we have wonderful education programming. We offer classes in the fall, the spring, and the summer.
So what is your favorite part of the whole theater?
Well, I just like how the teachers are kind and then they let you express yourself.
And share the stage with actors who are sometimes card-carrying professionals or people who have worked in the industry, and you could pick their brain, you could just watch them go through their process and learn from it.
You volunteer here. So do I. We work shows, we run the concessions. It's fun.
But I like how I've been part of the Algonquin Youth Ensemble since the beginning, spring 2 years ago. And I like how the program has evolved.
Education is one of the keystones to the mission of Algonquin Arts Theatre. Our mission is quality live performances, education, film for our shore community.
With the new board members and the management that we have in place now, the future of the Algonquin Theatre has never looked better.
This building, the Algonquin Arts Theatre, is a huge role in our community. This building's been here for 75 years, and to think 75 years, you just think about all the generations that come to see this building. For 4 wonderful people to take on the task of restoring this building and keeping it part of our community is a wonderful thing. Happy to be a part of this building and happy for it to be in our town.